Yep. It finally happened. Something went wrong. It was scary as it happened, but ended up being okay. My tire blew up, blew the fender off, caused a little bit of damage right as I was going to be crossing over the border into Canada in the next few hours. So ended up being fine. I was really worried initially crossing because they told me it would be like, oh, they're going to tear apart your whole trailer and you're going to have to put everything back. And, anyway, it ended up being about a 5-minute thing crossing through Montana. So this was at Tunnel Mountain in Banff. And it was an incredible campground. I did make the mistake of thinking I booked for a full hookup when actually it was just electric. And because I was sick, I was definitely not prepared. So hadn't dumped my tanks and didn't fill up my freshwater tank. So I was manually filling it up with my 3-gallon jug. And also the elk were literally just walking through the campground, minding their own business. I also saw these blackbirds that were the biggest I've ever seen in my life. Here's just me sending that to a friend. It was pretty great that I got to make some campfires. Of course, made some roasted marshmallows because, duh, that's what you do with a campfire. So really got to enjoy myself there. It did get pretty chilly at night. I was still there pretty early in the season. This was going to my reservation to see Lake Moraine and Lake Louise. The reservation time was at 6:30 in the morning on the dot. My drive-in was so beautiful. And, keeping in mind, it's basically a lottery system when you're booking a reservation. So I was there a bit earlier than maybe I would have liked. So me seeing the lakes, they were not that milky blue just yet, but I didn't have to deal with the crowds. So we made do. So conveniently, the only 2 times that I saw bears was from the safety of my vehicle. Here's one as I was almost to my shuttle, just minding his own business and from a safe distance. So this was Lake Moraine. As you can see, not that milky blue just yet, but very, very crystal clear. And again, didn't have to deal with any crowds. So I do recommend, maybe doing one of the earlier reservations and not having to deal with all the people and fighting them to get your pictures or videos or going on your hikes or whatever you may like to do with that. You do have to have a reservation though. So once you're in there, you're totally fine. You can take as much time as you want. So this was Lake Louise, and you could rent canoes and things and paddle around. Again, I was still really sick, so I didn't feel up to doing any of that, but it still was a really incredible view, and I'm so glad that I went. I still managed to do most of the things I wanted to do outside of going to Jasper, but I did go horseback riding. Since I was the only single, I was right behind the host, which ended up being awesome because I could hear all her fun facts and we kind of became besties on the trail. I also went kayaking, and it was just such an incredible view. It was a little chilly, I'm not going to lie. So after a couple hours, I was a little too cold. It got a little windy, so I ended up being done with it. But this mountain view was just pretty breathtaking. Once the sun came out more, you could see that the water was more of that really pretty teal, kind of green, blue-green color. This is at Johnston Lake or Canyon, I forget. Words are hard. Anyway, I do recommend that you go pretty early to beat the rush. There were a ton of people on my way down, but maybe I saw 4 people on my way up to see this beautiful waterfall. Highly recommend go early. I went around at 7:30 and 8 a.m. I did go into Banff to just kind of see what that was like and walk around. I got this awesome margarita and just some awesome tacos. This was a trail right across from Tunnel Mountain Campground. I did have Lennon, so I ended up tying her up because I saw that there were some elk ahead of me and there were other people around. I didn't want to scare them off. But this view was just so breathtaking. So again, I didn't go to Jasper. I ended up just deciding to go to my next stop, which was at this hot spring place right before I crossed the border back in Montana. Pretty much had this whole place to myself. And there you have it.